Hey everyone, my name is James and welcome to my RC Plane channel. I recently finished building this House of Balsa 1/2 A size Chipmunk model, and here it is. Here's the finished dude right there. And what I thought I would do is share with you how I constructed it and talk a little bit about the kit itself and some of the techniques I used. I did a couple modifications to it and I'd like to share those with you also. So this kit came out in, I guess, in about 1975, and it was around for several decades, and you could buy these in your local hobby shop. I got this kit from a man that lived on our street. He was one of our nice neighbors, and he flew RC planes also, obviously, and he had a bunch of stuff, and one day he gave me a few of the planes he had in his stash that he didn't think he was going to build. And so this plane's been with me in the garage or other places for 30 plus years. And recently I decided that I wanted to get back into the hobby, and I love to build, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna just build this little kit. So that's what I did. So I'm gonna in this video series show you how I did it and do some narration with some photographs. It's not going to be too elaborate, but hopefully you'll find it interesting. And then I'm going to maiden the plane here pretty soon, and hopefully everything goes okay with that also. So anyhow, let's get started. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the kit itself. So originally this was designed to be a 2-channel plane. It would have ailerons and elevator, and with the 049 engine, you didn't have a throttle, and you also did not have, they also didn't design it to have a steerable tail wheel or a workable rudder. So the rudder was stiff, and then the tail wheel was obviously stiff also. Now, I thought it would be cool to go ahead and modify the plane by putting in, I thought an OS 10 engine would work pretty well with this, and that would give you a throttle. And then I also thought it'd be nice to be able to at least steer the plane on the ground. I wasn't so much worried about flight characteristics with a workable rudder, but I did want to be able to have some control on the ground during takeoff and landing. Okay, so like I said, I did 2 modifications to it. I put a bigger engine in, and I also made a steerable tail wheel. And I'll just show you these really quick, and then we'll get back to the more details in the future video installments. So this is just an OS 10 FP engine. It's an older engine, and works these things. I flew these on all my planes back in the day, and I know it's sort of an old school engine and probably is not too fancy, but it's a great engine. It was very reliable, very powerful, and always liked to have them. Being the OS 10, it's small, and it was a little tricky figuring out how to get it to fit in here right, but I did an okay job, I think, and should work out pretty well. So, and then this side is the other modification, which is the steerable tail wheel. And there's not much to see there. It just goes up through the rear part of the fuselage, and then it connects into the rudder. So, and that's how it works. So that's the plane. Don't have a lot of room here. I'm gonna smash it, but so that's the finished product. And I finished this in a Canadian Armed Forces color scheme, and we'll talk a little bit about that also here in a minute. So, all right. Okay, so let's look at the kit itself. So this is, as I mentioned, 1/2 A sport standoff scale 2-channel radio Chipmunk model by Fred Reese. And here's some specifications on it. It was the 36-inch wingspan. Here's the area, length 28 inches, a weight of 22 to 28 ounces, and the engine, it said, of course, 049 engine. The wing loading 14 to 18 ounces. Now my wing loading came up a little bit because of the added engine weight and some of the other modifications I made. So we'll talk about that in a little later. So there's the box. Let's get this out of the way. And here's the plans. So the plans are just one sheet, and you build it straight on the plans. Get things out of the way, and there's the wing. Pretty simple construction. not much to say. It's just balsa spar. You know, they gave you blocks and you had to carve everything and shape everything. The aileron fits to the left side of the wing. Here's a couple shots of the firewall area. Here is looking down at the fuselage. Again, not too complicated, pretty straightforward. You notice over here that there's these little wing fillets. They construct those using micro balloons, and then the engine fits in here and in the cowl area, obviously, and it actually doesn't give you a lot of room for a .10 engine, that's for sure. So here's the engine area as originally designed. Here's the 049, and the .10 engine is bigger, so I had to move back the firewall a little bit, and we'll talk about that. And then of course just looking down the side to the rear part of the airplane, and there's the tail wheel, which is designed just to be stiff, and also, even though it's weird because they make you glue the rudder onto the I guess it's the stabilizer, the whole thing, but they make you glue the whole thing together. I don't know why they gave you two pieces, but that's what they did. So that's the plans. Pretty straightforward, kind of cool. Let's see, here's the instruction book. They give you a nice instruction book, lots of photographs, step by step. And what's really neat about it is a lot of this hardware is still available from the same companies. There's Dubro, there's Williams Brothers. What else is in here? I thought I saw another one. But that stuff is all readily available still online or in hobby shops, so that's pretty cool. And step by step, it was pretty easy to follow, and we'll talk about some of the steps in the future video installments. And here's showing the, sort of like the sport color scheme that the kit was designed for or intended to be. And then on the back there's some pictures of some other kits you can get from House of Balsa back in the day. So nice little instruction book. They also gave you this, which was a nice little sheet which shows the actual Canadian Air Force, or not the Canadian Air Force, I think the Royal Canadian Air Force paint scheme, and the diagram gives you dimensions of the plane. The original plane had a 34-inch wingspan. 34-foot wingspan. And so this is kind of a nice little added into the kit there. So that's basically what you got, besides all the wood. Okay, so just to finish up, I want to talk about the Chipmunk itself. I'm not a historian, but I'll tell you what I know about it. So the Chipmunk was produced by the de Havilland Company in Canada as a military trainer for the Canadian military. It was also produced in the United Kingdom and used over there, and in a variety of other countries. The first version of it was the DHC-1, which had the birdcage canopy. The second version, or a later version, was the DHC-1B, which had the bubble top canopy. Now the bubble top canopy version, or the DHC-1B, is what House of Balsa models. And it's also, so I did some research, and here's a picture of it, and that's the one that I chose to model also. So my model is after the DHC-1B, which was the Canadian Armed Forces trainer. So that's it for now, and please join me on my next video where I'm going to be talking about building the fuselage, and I'll show some pictures, and we'll talk about getting the engine modification done, and it should be fun. All right, that's it for now. I'm James, and thanks for watching my RC channel. We'll see you next time.